Hey Ryan, hi guys. You guys were so good earlier. I loved watching you guys play. I loved hearing all of your voices on voice chat. You guys were literally so good. I hope everything, like all the games went well. I missed like literally the first 2 hours. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, Stargazer. Hi, Star.
It's me, Jessica. I'm in here.
Hi, babe. Welcome in. Star, how are you? Were you playing in the 22? I didn't realize you were also playing. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody Saturday? Besides the tournament, how was everybody Saturday? Um, I think I'm just gonna start shiny hunting like immediately. Are we down for that? Turn off the music. The music in game is enough. Okay, I have the perfect start to this. We're gonna shiny hunt. I'm good, and I was filling for art until they got back from work. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna shiny hunt Zubat, I think, today. Um, we'll see how many shinies we get on stream. The most we've gotten so far on stream is 11, plus like including a double shiny. There's a video of that somewhere. Um, this is a 39-minute one. Wait, let me see if there are any others that I might want. Staryu would be great, but like we don't need to waste a donut on Staryu. We can just try shiny hunting. Ooh, that'd be interesting. We already have Meditite. Hi, Ali. Welcome in. No, I'm so glad you got to play. Yeah, thank you, Rosa, for all the shoutouts. You're so awesome. Thank you for being here. I hope this is a good break from DBD. Hanging out here for a little bit. Very low-fi vibes. Let's just go for it. Let's go for the Zubat. All types. Nah, I don't want the 50. Let's see if there's another one. Sparkly Pecha. This is normal. Is there another sparkly? No. Okay, so we'll just go for the all types for 39 minutes. How about that? Ali, how are you? How's your weekend? How's your Saturday so far? Thanks everybody for getting their check-ins. Guys, we're still doing the fundraiser. I changed our personal goal to um to we're just gonna get our thing first and see if we got a shiny. I'm gonna collect all this stuff. Catch well Pokemon. Alright, that's a lot of them. Revive. We cleaned the car and kids got to play outside for a little bit. Ooh, that's fun. That sounds like a good time. Oh. Oh, destroy piles of sludge. Scissor, get your booty over here. We didn't catch it, by the way. Guys. Oh, Scissor's gonna die. I forgot the controls, guys. How's the weather like at home right now, Alex? Today is like a very warm-ish day, but it's been cool, you know? And then next week we're expecting like 95 degrees out. Like, isn't that insane? Oh, do you think I can catch one of these guys? Hold on, let's see. Yep. And then destroy Pokeballs. Okay, that's easy. Worst. There's another one over there. I need 5. Oh. Here we go. Oh, it's over there. Here's the Zubat. No shinies. We're taking a really long time to get these challenges done. Sometimes it's over here. Oh my god, there's so many I missed. There's so many I missed. Where's this gold ball? There's another Pokeball up there. How do I even, like, I forgot to play this game, guys. I don't know what the gold one is. I'm literally lost. I hear it. See, I'm back in the middle. I think it's around this corner. No, we were just over here, and there's no teleporter up. Where's the teleporter? Star, I'm lost. I haven't played this game in months. I've been neglecting it. And now I don't remember how to get around. see a gold Pokeball anywhere. I hear it. Oh, it's right there. Alright. Time to hunt. Same girl, I wish I could help you. Okay, time to hunt. I figured it out. That's a big ball. Now I know how to do it. So I'm just gonna go straight. Actually. Zubats are all the way at the top, so I wish there was an easier way to the Zubats. Like, I literally have to go this whole way to Zubat. It's kind of crazy. There has to be a better way to get to Zubat, no? There has to be, right? Or maybe that way. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, almost clipped it. Okay, wait. Did you get the DLC for this game or no? Yeah, we're currently in. This is part of the DLC. Like we're doing that story as well. So I have to go this way instead. And then run over here. I don't see a shiny, and we reset. Have you gotten the DLC yet? I mean, I think, yeah. Part of the, I still have to do like the legendaries. Like this is the like post-game DLC part. But now we're getting DLC for.
White refrigerator. I was like, oh, not a white refrigerator. Girl, please just sneeze on it.
Hey Cosmosis, how are you? I love that. Oh my god, what a hidden gem in the sound alert. How are you doing, Cosmosis Cutie? Welcome in. We're shiny hunting for Zubat right now. Guys, if you see a green one, you let me know. I even have a shiny donut on. No, this is not cute. Let's see. Nothing. I'm surprised I haven't seen a single shiny. I'm not even trying for Venipede. Oh, no shiny. How you doing, Cosmosic? Okay with the 3-stream streak? Thank you for getting your check-in, friend. How are you doing today? How are you feeling? Are you feeling a little better? Yesterday you said you were sick, right? Are you starting to feel a little better? Did you do anything to help you recover today? An alpha? But no shiny. No shiny. Not even a Bellsprout shiny. I wish I had a shiny counter coughing? Is that all you have? Is a cough? Like a really bad cough? I'm sorry. Ponte Bix, as my grandma would say. Oh. If they jump off the building. Ew, Phlegm, I'm so sorry. That's the worst. I'm so sorry, my friend. I hope you get to feel better soon. I hope being here will help calm you down from some of your stress. No shinies. I don't think we're getting a shiny out of this donut. Our luck is exhausted. We're rusty. We're rusty in our hunting. Like we're not even getting a Bellsprout. Oh, there's the alpha. No shiny. I don't see green. I don't see green. No shiny. Another alpha. Oh, I think the better way to do this is like force them to despawn. So spawn, right? And then I think literally running over here. If once I can't see them. I don't know if oh, one didn't despawn. Let's see. The others despawn. Yeah, the others did, but one didn't. I see. It's better to just do this one. Oh, whoa. Cute little bus route. No, nothing. How long have you been sick, Cosmosis? Nothing. I might forget the map, but I will not forget the music. Oh, I can see the Venipede from over here! So I can see the shiny. Wait, that's good to know. I don't even have to leave the roof. That's so good to know, look. And now we can see all of that. Look, they all spawn. Nothing shiny. And no shiny. And that's it. Then we move on. Okay, so now we can get the Venipedes in there. We get two Bellsprout spawns and a Venipedes and the Zubat. So now we have a chance. We can see everything. Things will spawn. Venipede? Anything? 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 No, nothing shiny. And how about Zubat? No Zubats. Nothing, nothing. Guys, this is not looking successful. Let's go. Oh! Get back to the Pokeball. Also, let's switch up our Pokemon after this. shiny, nothing shiny. Dang, not even an alpha that time. Nothing shiny. Nothing shiny. Nothing shiny. We can change up our fit too. Nothing shiny, nothing shiny. I don't even hear shiny. Nothing shiny. Nothing shiny. See, Zubat. Zubat, Zubat, Zubat. Nope. No Zubat. No shinies. Oh yeah, Zubats are not shiny. Nope. Zubats aren't shiny, guys. Nothing shiny, nothing shiny. Blah, blah. Oh, wow. Nothing shiny, nothing shiny. Guys, this is not looking promising. We're halfway done with our donuts. I lost my mojo, guys. Oh, there's an alpha, but not a shiny. How about there? How about Zubat? Zubat, Zubat. Oh, they all look regular to me. Moving on. No shinies. No shinies, no shinies. I don't see any shinies over there. Any shinies? Any? Nope. No shinies. Come on, sparkly donut. Nope. No shinies, no shinies. We really didn't get a shiny, huh? Nope. No shinies. Nor another alpha. even the Zurax. Ba, 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 ba. We're really not gonna get a shiny. The game said this is what happens when you forget about us for months. No shiny. No shiny. Oh, 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 oh. Nada, nothing. Even with the sparkly donut. Yeah, all types and Humongo power, by the way. I think they are bigger than normal. No shiny. No. No. Nope. I didn't mean to do that. Anything? Anything? Too good to be true. Oh! Dun, 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 dun. We're really just not gonna get it. Not even a Bellsprout? Oh, we got a shiny! Look at him. We're shiny, guys! First shiny of the night. And that's on period. Yeah, I caught your friend. Sorry. They're not close enough to spawn. Only 4 spawned. W shiny, I know. We'll have to name it. That's our first shiny, friend. I really want a Zubat. I don't know, I think I have a shiny counter. For all total and stream. Any luck? There's literally only 4 that spawn, it's kind of crazy. Shinies. They're so offended by me. Let's just hope. Let's hope the shiny gods are in our favor. No luck on the Zubat. Excuse me. I'm tired today. I had a long day today. I never remember the buttons, guys. I don't remember the buttons. No! Oh shit. Keep bumping into shit. Screech! Oh my god, that'll wake me up. How many am I gonna get these Zubats? Also, Star, I really want to start a Nuzlocke on stream so bad. I did start one before, but I just kept dying, and there's so many Pokemon to keep track of. Do it. I think I'm just gonna do it. I want to do it on my own before I say. I know I invited Jam to join me in one, but I want to do one completely on my own first. I would love to do like something hardcore. Or maybe even something simple like emeralds or something, you know, like something that I can navigate pretty easy. I know emerald's pretty common to Nuzlocke too. Are you ready for tomorrow? Tomorrow's gonna be fun. I think Ryan said he'll join too, so we'll have like a cute little trio. Well, maybe we can get a full Swift going. Yay, yes. It'll be fun to hang out with you guys, like, and be on a VC and just shoot the shit, right? Whoa, whoa. Like that one Legion game? Yeah. That one Legion game where I didn't realize for the whole stream no one could hear y'all's audio, but we were like hooting and hollering that day. We were having so much fun that day. We'll even oh, maybe we can run it back with Momo. Let's see what Momo's up to tomorrow. I'm so tired, guys. I can't help but be yawning. Oh, nothing shiny, nothing shiny. Nothing shiny, nothing shiny. It's not gonna happen. Big sad on the no shiny for Zubat. Oh, Hydrate is so real. Let's do that. Thank you for the Hydrate star. Thank you for the Hydrate. What? It's like the noises they make, you know? The noises they make are hilarious. Where's the fourth? Where's the fourth? Oh. Guys, we're not getting it. We're not gonna get it. I don't have faith. Nope. Okay, I think we're gonna do big lap now. Big lap. We'll go straight for the Venipedes. Nothing. Oh, we have to go up. No Venipedes here, nothing. Okay, but we can just go straight back. Maybe that's the plan. It's just that climbing all this takes so much time. Did they spawn in yet? Yeah, climbing all that takes so much time. It's such a waste of my time. I think we'll have to keep doing it this way just to make sure we get as fast as we can to the Zubat. Maybe we'll do this. No, because even the ladder takes too long. The ladder just takes too long, right? Nothing up here. Nope. I don't think so. Boom, 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 boom. The way they sound is so funny. Yeah, I think this is the best case scenario. Let's just keep lapping this way. I think we just go straight for Zubat. Venipede would be cool, but I think we just need to save time on the donut, right? Excuse me. Nothing. Like, not even these Bellsprout are shiny. I've been shiny, which is kind of nuts. There's an alpha there. What if we did this? Do we hear shiny? Nope. Got a blast. There's the shiny. I thought it was two. I was about to scream. So 2 shinies, guys. After I said we haven't gotten a shiny in this Bellsprout patch, we happened upon the Bellsprout. Why'd I thought I heard it? Why'd I thought I heard it again? Nothing with the Zubat. So we got a second shiny. I mean, can't be that mad that we got 2 right here at the end of the donut. Let's go straight for Zubat. go that way. We'll go to Zubat first and then go back, like down. You know what I mean? We'll go down from Zubat. Oh, look at that alpha. Big fat bug. Yucky. Boom, 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 but down. Wait, what is that? Oh my god. Is that one of your emo? She's Gary. No, do that, please. We wasted so much time at the start, but now that I understand the routing better, like I'm remembering the routing. I think we had a pretty solid route. I mean, this was the easiest way to get up here, right? Pretty sure. Ooh. Oh. Sorry. Ooh. Oh. Why did it sound like that? No shiny. I'll be able to laugh like twice more. I'm just gonna go straight for Zubat. I hear a ball there. No, 67 seconds. One more time. Let's see. Can we make it? Oh yeah, it's like 10 seconds. 20 seconds. Can we make it? Please. One more time. Come on. Lap, lap, lap. We got the 2 shinies here. Can we make it another round? Please. No. One more. We can make it one more lap. Please. It's gonna be cutting it so close. We got 10 seconds. Let's go. We're so close. No, please. No. 5 seconds. No, GG. We made it add 0 to the Zubat, by the way. Okay, so 2 Bellsprout, like, that's not that bad. We have a few Bellsprout, I think, though. Let's change our outfit around. Let's do a little makeover. How about that? Ooh, what if we did something like this? I like the green, actually. Oh, fuck it. This ain't DVD. Yeah, it's not DVD. Not today. I wasn't really in. I mean, DVD has been so much fun, but I really wanted to play something else on stream. I've been really wanting to play this too for a minute. At least come back to it. I hope you don't mind we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming. We'll be playing DVD tomorrow though, so that's exciting. We're playing with Star and Ryan. Okay. Oh no, we have to change our bag. Ooh, maybe we just go black. And then I want to switch my Pokemon around. Baby in bed, dog went out, showered, and ready for some mom time. Period. Okay, so what's on the schedule for mom tonight? What is on the schedule for mom? What are we getting into, friend? So many shinies, by the way. Oh look, all these Pokemon. Hold on. I forget how to... There we go.
I love you, bitch.
Oh my god, thank you for
I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
Ali, you icon, thank you for the gifted to Star. You're just better. You're just better. And the world needs to know that you're better. Wow, I did all that just to not delete anything. Oh, actually, we can get rid of that. Oh, it's an alpha. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. Okay, cool. Oh, it's because I have a whole other Meganium, by the way. What iconic Pokemon? Oh, it's because I was like starting to organize them by evolution, maybe? I don't really remember. Yeah, see, we have a victory bell already. Like, where do all my other shinies go? Oh, these are all organized. Like, where's... Oh, here's the one Bellsprout. And where'd the other Bellsprout go is the question. Well, now we have the full evolution. Oh, look, right here. Now we have the full evolution. Where's Victory Bell? Right here. We'll put one here. We're in the full line, and the shinies now. Okay. We changed our fit. Oh, we didn't change our Pokemon around, actually. Oh, we have a shiny Annihilate. Period. We have blue and yellow shinies. That'd be nice if we can get some others. Also, Star. Now I have access to my favorite emote. Oh, how I've missed you. I love that. Also, Star, look at this. Look at this. We get a shiny Gengar. We're gonna put these all away. We have Glaceon. Oh, I forgot that our shiny Charizard is named after anxiety. Where's this creepy guy located? Oh, where the Lilio are. None of these are quite where I want to go, you know? What's the cold place? Oh, it's here. Ronathan, hi, bye, Madi duties. Okay, well, enjoy your Madi duties. Don't duty too hard. My boy, I need it. The next one we catch will be named... Star. Just you watch. Just you watch. Just you watch. Oh, I'm watching. This creepy guy is over here. Oh, there's a... What is this? No, I already have Houndour, and I have a Sharpedo. Tiny Mushroom. Yeah, here's the guy that wants to buy all my shards, yes. Oh, bulk trade, period. Let's do that. That's all I can afford. Trade. Alright. Let's, is there anywhere else we want to go? Like, are there any other shinies? Maybe we could just do the missions now. Kyogre. Ooh, Coolfish would be fun. Do we have a Carvanha already? Let's see in our shiny. We do have shiny Sharpedo, but I think that was it. We only have shiny Sharpedo. We don't have a Coolfish or what was the other one? Now it's losing the distortion. It's Coolfish, Carvanha, and then and the lobster. Wait, where's that? Oh, it's over here. Maybe we'll go with the other Sparkling Power. It's only 14 minutes. Oh wait, no, this is the wrong one. Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? This isn't even right. Where did the water one go? Why am I fucking tripping? Is it because I saw it here? Oh yeah, it's because it's over here. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm literally tripping. Oh, lost Pokeballs. Oh yes. The Denny. Yeah, let's go for this. 31 minutes. That sounds fun. Here we go. I only see Coolfish, by the way. Oh, I see these guys now. Okay. We have horrible Pokemon for this. Now we're about to die. right. We gotta just release these. Alright, time to shiny hunt. Oh, because we also have alpha power. The Carvana didn't spawn. Not this time. Hi, Allie. Allie, what are you up to? He is following me. He's following me. The killer is escaping. I'm gonna go around this way because I'll be able to see a shiny from far. The Carvana really didn't spawn. Oh my god. What saw me? Oh, it's an alpha. It's an alpha. I don't see any shiny. No shiny, no shiny. Bunch of alphas. Bunch of alphas again. Okay, I got a pretty good view of all of them from that lap. So we should make the most of this. Oh, it's because I caught all the Carvana, isn't it? That's why they're not spawning now. Well, I'm not hunting it, so... 2 alphas are there. Who knows, maybe we'll get a shiny alpha. I'm feeling really confident about this donut. We're getting a lot of alphas, so the magic is working. And we're getting the alpha of the Piranha. I guess not just... others. I couldn't see the alpha others. And we reset. The Carvana are back. Love that. So many alphas now. Look at that. Look at all these alphas. No shinies though. Two alpha Carvana there, bro. Holy shit, so many alphas. Literally so many alphas. Will we have any shiny luck? Oh, did she die? Hi Sugar Pea, thank you for the check-in. How are you doing? We're just shiny hunting today. Honestly, we're not going to be streaming for much longer. Maybe like another 45 minutes. Jaboy is tired. I might be streaming Sims on Discord tonight. Just to get that house redone and maybe some cast stuff so we can prepare for the birthday, the wedding, you know, for everyone getting older. Oh no, I went too far. How are you doing, Sugar Pea? Wow, we're really not getting any shinies. Alphas have stopped too. We've got 2 shinies so far on stream. There were 2 Bellsprout, but it's okay. Now we have a complete dex of Bellsprout. Shiny Bellsprout. We're just gonna keep resetting and test our luck, you know? Ooh. Excuse me. So sleepy. Like literally no shinies, by the way. The alphas are coming back though, so I feel a little better about this spawn. I was feeling really confident about the spawn before, but now I'm feeling like we have no luck. Not today. Dun, 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 dun. Guys, I can't find any shinies. This is so bad. Lots of alphas that time. We need shinies, we do! Tell him, Allie, tell him! Scream it louder! Dude, I'm not getting anything. The alphas are coming though. Look at how many alphas. All the little lobsters. Okay, popping back in. How many shinies have we caught? Just the 2. Just the 2. We have not been so lucky with this donut. I mean, we weren't really lucky with the last donut either. But this donut is an alpha donut and a shiny donut. And honestly, like, we've been getting so many alphas and no shinies. So there must be an imbalance. How are you doing, Rosa? How are you? What are you up to after the tourney? Are you still playing some DVD? I was thinking about streaming Sims off stream, like on Discord tonight. We try to rebuild that house. None this way, none that way. I guess we don't have to run. I guess we can just do this. I'm laying down and watching Legends of Vox Machina. Ooh, my battery is at... Oh yes. Oh yes. The curse of the dead battery. You're like, and I don't want to get up to charge my phone. What is a boy to do? Yeah, I really don't have to run. I think I see all the craw done from here. Or they're not craw. Launcher. They're also all using Splash, by the way. Your social better. Oh no! No, that's so real. You've been on all day, you know what I mean? So I get that. I get that. The alpha saw me. I know you don't see me for real. Like I'm behind the scaffolding. Excuse me. I'm sleepy. Nothing. Part of me feels like I have to run or I'm gonna miss it, you know what I mean? They would have chimed, I think. The alpha saw me, that's crazy. And look at that. Nope. And I think Quillfish is purple. So like I'll be able to tell like straight away when I see it, you know. I'm so surprised I haven't seen a single shiny. And we're at half donut, by the way. We're at a half donut. I think we might go for the Groudon and Kyogre after this. Like, just nothing. Just give me nothing. Oh, we're so unlucky today. So sad. Shiny Carvana, really, dude? I can't. Look, you see it over there? I see it. I see it. Look, it's green, it's blue. It's a shark. I didn't need to catch it with an Ultra Ball, to be honest. Shiny number 3. And it's not one we want. I guess we run that risk, right? We run that risk that it's just going to be a shiny we don't want. Shiny! Oh my god, look at it. Oh, look, he's so cute. I want to catch him in a Premier Ball. I see him. And just like that, we got the shiny we wanted. You know, maybe it helps to complain. It helps to complain, it seems. Shiny! Alright, time for Quillfish. That'll make it 3-3. This one I'll run for because there's a Quillfish spawn here that's worth the jog. I think I would have got it already. Nope. Let's try to get this. Oh, it's right there. Guys, we did it. 3 out of 3. Is it a shiny alpha? It's an alpha. It's an alpha. Hold on. Let's get an electric type Pokemon up in this piece. Or actually, we'll just use Majesty. Wait, no, it's a poison type, so Majesty is actually not preferred here. No, of course this Raichu has horrible stats. Oh, where's Slurt, Kevin, let's go. It's so pink. Pink alpha. We did it! We got all the shinies in this area. We got one shiny alpha, so you know, donut worked. The donut worked. The donut worked. The donut worked. Oh, we just got it. Come on, please, get me out. Okay. So we got it. We did one of each. So that's three. That's 3 shinies in this area. Let's see if we can get a 4th. This donut was like, you know what? We're done. We're done playing you. We'll get you your shiny. That's incredible. Incredible news. I thought Quillfish was purple. Good to know it's pink. You know? And I saw it immediately. I've seen them all immediately. They're like, okay, you got your shinies. Like, who cares now? No more shinies for you. The alphas are back. I really don't think we're gonna get another shiny. Let alone a shiny alpha. We got 3 in a row, like literally almost nearly back to back. Nothing. Another shiny Carvana. That's 4. We got our 4th. After complaining. That's the key to success is complaining, okay? That's what we're learning here. That's 6 total per stream. 6 total for stream, by the way. And apparently, I've never been on like television before. Everything's just in such tight quarters that you can literally see every Pokemon that spawns in at once. Like, it makes this a really good donut. Like, this is a good dimension. I'm still holding out hope for another shiny lobster launcher. Wow, those two in the back, they're like, we're never gonna be shiny actually. I'm getting stuck. We're almost done with this, huh? Alpha shark over there, back there. There's always a double alpha in the back there. Oh, shark's back. Honestly and truly, we're gonna get another shark again, watch. It's gonna be kind of insane. We're gonna get another shark again, I think. I fear. Oh my god, my hair. Oh, we got it. Look at him. Right there. Little crab. Little lobster. We got a little lobster! Alright, this donut was very good to us. I was really hoping for that alpha lobster. I wonder how many more times we can see. My friend's doing like a Traders IRL, like one shot, and she just sent me a text that she just got murdered. Mad. I don't know how to fucking say it. We're almost done with the donut. We got a bunch of shinies, so I'm not really that pressed, but boy do I wish that Carvana was a Quillfish, because that would have been sickening. Shiny. No shiny, no shiny. We did get the shiny alpha Quillfish. Just so many alphas too. Let's just quick spawn to force the new spawns in. Nothing I want, so let's move on. Carvana? Nothing spawn. I'm gonna go this way. I was like, the Carvana didn't spawn, so make sure everything spawns. So. We are, I think we're at a standstill. This is the end of the donut. I don't think we get any more in 18 seconds. Oh, it's wasting our time. GG. We got a lot of shinies there. That was actually a pretty decent haul. For shinies. Oh, oops. Look at that. Ooh, a fast one is modest. Timid. Well, where else can we go? Oh, there's another one. We just did this. That was so unfruitful. Actually, let's just do Sapphire power beginning to detect. Yeah, we'll do Sapphire. Check summary. Let's give her freeze dry instead of this. I think I want to bring him back and put in someone else. We'll bring Meganium to this battle. Oh, Victory Bell. Who else? bringing 2 Meganiums, by the way. Let's give some items. Give an item to hold. Victory Bellite. I want to give her Big Root. Or something like that. Yeah. Alright, let's go to the mall. Let's finish this DLC, you know? I forgot there's no swimming. Let's go in. Ooh. It's gorgeous. Waterfalls from nowhere. Is this what Kyogre's subconscious looks like? Well, they do say Kyogre is the personification of the sea. The strength of its water-type attacks is supposed to be incredible. We can still take it on between the 3 of us and our Pokemon. Let's go, everyone. Time to catch Kyogre. Period. Here we go. Kyogre. Whoa, is that Kyogre? We can't pull any punches. Gloves up, team. Oh, we can't pull any punches. He's literally a rock. Okay. Okay, we're just flying. Oh, Cloak is about to die. Oh, Cloak's dead. Okay, Mega. Saving my life. We're beating his ass. There's gonna be another fight. There you go. He said, we're gonna have to fight him again. He's gonna mega, or he's gonna transform. Okay, one by one. I'm an idiot. Light scanner. There's a big monster alley. Oh, it's taking us too long to do this. I hit the wrong button. Okay. Yeah. We don't have much time. I don't know what to tell you, girl. Don't miss about that end, but hell is going on? You know what? That's not shiny hunting. Will you attempt to bet again? I literally have to do it again. Ugh. Fuck it. Let's just restart from the top. And let's be better. We have to keep Ambrose. What we did last This is fully dead, by the way. Oh, it's an alpha. Wait, this is smart. We're already over halfway done with the donut. I hit the wrong button. This is ridiculous. How we haven't killed it yet? I hit the wrong button again! my god, we used so much of the donut. And now he's gonna mega. We have no donut left for this part of the map. Literally 0 donut, by the way. I died, bro. Oh my god. I died. Oh my god, that was crazy. I don't know even how to do better. What if I give up? I would be expelled. No. Alright, let's try that again. Oh, I need more electric type Pokemon. Like, what am I doing with grass types? The grass types can't penetrate. Honestly, okay, let's do it. We'll just have to heal. Brock. I think Ampharos is gonna carry. Come on, Kevin! Come on, Kevin! Carry, Kevin! This is ridiculous. This is so loud. Oh my god, record time. Ampharos is the key. Ampharos isn't strong enough though for primal Kyogre low-key. I know what to do. Hold on, watch this. Pop out. Light screen. Mr. Hall. Oh, we died. That's not good. Dead again? No, so close. We were so close. What are we supposed to do? We were so close there. I was locked in. Oh, what happened? What happened to my video game? Mi video juego. Hi, Ark. Welcome in. This is exhausting. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Yeah, with previous progress, because we were so... You can carry over the damage you'd already dealt. Yes. Keep previous progress. Oh, we're cheating now. So we're just cheating. I love this. We could have done this whole time. Who's that Pokemon? It's Kyogre. did it! Whee! It's time to catch Kyogre. Kyogre in a dive ball. These girls are jealous. A shiny blue orb that is said to have deep connection to the legend of the Hoenn region. Period. 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 We're the greatest. I can't believe we is too many people. I caught Kyogre. I caught Kyogre. Excellent work, kids. Beating Kyogre is no joke, especially after I got more. But as much as I hate to interrupt your moment, I need you all to stop by my office. I'll be waiting. Corbo always has something to say to us. You three didn't just beat Kyogre. You beat it when it was powered up. You sure are something. Whatever Kyogre did with that blue orb didn't sound quite like it was Mega Evolving though. So let me get this straight. There's both Primal Reversion and Mega Evolution in play here. You got it. They sort of work in a similar way, but they're not exactly the same. Funny, right? Primal Reversion is when Kyogre returns to its original state and grows really powerful. Its blue orb contains an overwhelming amount of natural energy. When that energy, the orb's power, awakens Kyogre's true form, it becomes Primal Kyogre. Nice. Glad I got to see Primal Reversion for myself. It's a big deal for me as the Mega Evolution successor. I'm glad this gave you something new to chew on, but you're not done yet. Get working on that Ruby Distortion so you can catch Groudon. Okay, we can't let Ansha down. Great. So, hello Kyogre, let's put you in DLC at the back. 125, 128, 6, 7, 8. Who do we want for this battle? Meganium won't do. Honestly, Meganium might do. Okay. There is a fire type move that comes in here into play, but I think grass and water are kind of like. Do I even have? Oh yes, Gyarados. Hello, and he's flying type. I would bring Omen, but ground type is just too strong here. Let's do that. Let's raise it. There you go. And then let's give it... Oh, it already has it. Okay, lovely. We really don't have any other water types. mean, I guess we could bring grass types here, yeah, but this is not gonna be be good. Oh, we have Golisopod. Wait, hold up. No, Golisopod's not good here. Launcher would be good if I just raised it. Bring Vaporeon. I think that should be fine. We really just used Ampharos for the other one. Let's just go to the next. Let's just try to get this done and then we'll end stream. Oh, it's all the way on the other side. What's here? Oh, these are Houndour. Something up there. Let's try flying here. How about that? Hi, Rambo. Hi, welcome in, cutie. How are you? We were shiny hunting, but I think we're trying to complete the DLC now, and then we're gonna end stream. How have you been? How was your weekend so far? I'm walking away from where I need to be. There has to be a better way to, you know, what if I did this? How are you doing, Rambo? Down here. Oh, hello. Where's Scizor? Good, how are you? I'm doing good. I had work today, so I'm a bit tired. So we're not gonna stream for much longer. We're gonna just get this DLC done. Methinks. It's honestly all I have energy for. Oh! Get back up there! Oh my god. I thought I was gonna lose it. Alright, back over this way. I wanna go back up. I wanna go back up. Hold on. Here's an item I want to grab. And then we can do it. Let's do it. Oh. So this is Groudon's world. Come quick, you two. There's Groudon. Look at all this lava. Ginormous red crystals. Lava pouring down. This is what it's like in Groudon's subconscious? Yeah, I guess so. I'm not expert here. What I do know is Groudon should gain the fire type when it goes... Oh, it does. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Did it always gain the fire type? Oops. Well, in that case... we really don't have any other water types that would be worth it to use. I didn't know he gained... I mean, what if we just use Kyogre? I can't use that now? You're joking. Let's go. Have you done that? So, is there a Rayquaza DLC in this? Have you done that one? If so, this is So this is what I'm currently doing is the Rayquaza DLC, and these are the two of the missions before you go against Rayquaza. And that's what we're gonna try to finish up here. Before stream's over. What kind of work do you do, Justin? That's a big question. I'm an account manager right now, helping with restaurant pop-ups. So I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks, and part-time I serve tables. So there's this like restaurant really close to my house that's pretty popular, and I go there. I spend my mornings there on the weekend. But they really have me there for like a full 8-hour shift. Account manager, yeah, it's really fun so far. Solar beam, excuse me. I think. Can you fit? Yeah, I already caught. I just caught Kyogre not too long ago. We're gonna use Kyogre here. Look at that. And what about Deoxys? I think Deoxys is in this. I would have to check. Are you that era Pokemon kind of fan? Like you like that era? That's like the era you know? Or are you a Pokemon fan through and through? I can do that too, Ho. Why? Only ice type moves. Oh, because of the man, or because of the perspective. Wait, this is not good. Gen 3, yeah. Oh, he just died. That's crazy. Like soberly? That's kind of crazy. That's fine, because we can continue with the same damage output. So now we're halfway done. Continue with previous progress. Keep previous progress, because we need to get this show on the road. It's like, what am I supposed to do? And then he's all over these damn mega little circles. All I can do. Weak ass attack. Hi, Night Raven. Welcome in. How are you doing? Thanks for getting your check-in. Yes, exactly. Rambo. You ever have to get your check-in? How's it going, Raven? Happy birthday, Raven! I can't sing. Did it! Oh, guys, my eyes hurt. Ooh, fastball. Seems to have yellow. Hell yeah, let's do it. We did it, guys! A shiny red orb that is said to have a deep connection to a legend of the Hoenn region. Let's go. Yes, Justin. And you too, Tawny. Way to go. We're just too good. Whatever. Not bad, kids. Lumios' toughest trio has done it again. Now, while I'm sure you're still enjoying the glow of victory, I've got some questions. Come by my office. You just... Can a boy sleep? Guys, my eye feels swollen. Like, it kind of hurts. Like I have a bruise or something. You caught Groudon and Kyogre, two legends of the Hoenn region. I knew it couldn't have been easy. Well done. Oh yeah, we did it. Looks like it's finally time for us to track down Rayquaza. We'll be finished analyzing the blue orb and red orb soon. Seems like data analysis is the Rust Syndicate's main job now. What kind of organization are we these days? A civic think tank? Okay, relax. You're Lumios' reliable allies. I feel bruised. Look at my face. Don't forget who you're dealing with, kid. Once folks are in our debt, we can't put them to work for free. Helping us shape Lumios just the way we want it, that's all. Cool. Sorry for the wait. Allow me to return your blue and red orb. Yeah, mine. Mine, not theirs. Mine. You were quite right about the prodigious energy they contain, Miss Karina. If you give Groudon a red orb, you can have it undergo... Yep. I knew that already. I did it. I believe someone else wanted to weigh in, too. What do you have to say, Professor Mabel? I'm the lab's acting director, not a professor. I did not ask for students. I understand, Professor. Could you tell us what you've learned? You little... Fine. Let me sum up what we know. Our inciting incident is when Darkrai got pumped full of all that mega power oozing from the tower. Long story short, its nightmare-generating power skyrocketed and Hyperspace Lumiose was born. The makeup of Hyperspace Lumiose reflects the subconscious thoughts of people and Pokemon, which I guess is why it's so weird in there. But you've already figured that much out on your own, haven't you? Let me clarify one thing though. It's not just a reflection of some conscious thoughts, it's dreams. And I mean dreams of all kinds, both the ones you can't control at night and the things you're actively wanting and wishing for. Great lesson, Professor. Bravo. Now could you tell us how we can find Rayquaza? You'll have to generate Rayquaza's realm of Hyperspace Lumiose by actualizing a related aspect of the subconscious as a basis. Actualizing what? Can you slow down and try that again for the less egg-headed among us? You have to wish really hard. I think it might be doable now that you've caught both Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre. Getting closer to your goal is probably making it easier to picture catching Rayquaza, and that's made you even more motivated. I'm right, aren't I? So take that mental image and that motivation, then dial them up and make it happen. I get it, I think. Not sure if that helped or made things even more confusing. Look, Buster. My job is studying Pokemon energy. I'm not automatically a hyperspace expert just because I have a fancy lab at my disposal. Who's the big dreamer trying to get a meet and greet with Rayquaza in the first place anyway? Let's just be honest. We're friends with her. That's right, the little chef herself. I suggest you listen to the professor's non-expert opinion, Justin. You gotta get Ansha to wish as hard as she can for you to encounter Rayquaza. I'll get on it. Great. That little lady sure is something. She wanted to meet this mighty Pokemon so bad that her dream got mixed up with Darkray's power to make nightmares, and look where we are now. It's one heck of a powerful dream. Oh, shit, I can't read. But back to the topic at hand. Thanks, Professor. I'll call you if we need you again. The next time you call me will be your last. I'm dead. I'll get Ansha caught up on all this. Cool, bye. Go do your thing, Justin. Great. And just like that. Let's save. Thank you everyone for being here. As usual, stream was a lot of fun today. We got a lot done. We got like 7 shinies, and we completed part of the DLC. I think that's like a pretty productive stream, right? Who are we gonna raid out to tonight? Who is raidable? On and raidable. Ooh. Biscuits on. I guess we can raid. Let's go raid to Omar. Acoustic. Thank you for stream. Thank you for being here, Allie. Let's raid to Omar. I think that's right. Oh, it's 5. Oh, no, that's my mistake. Omar's playing a fun little game. I've not actually seen this game. But let's go hang out there. I'm gonna raid and run because your boy is not feeling well. Like, my eye really hurts. So I'm just gonna take a break from screens. And just kind of sit for a little bit. I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you all for hanging out with me on stream today. Like I say every stream is only fun because you guys are here, and I love having a space where we can all hang out every week. Weekends are just better with you guys. The last few months have been better with you guys. Like, I just honestly could not have gone through this part of my life without you guys, and I'm so grateful that you guys spend your time with me and give me all of your company. I'm so grateful. Anyway, I am gonna try to relax and get some sleep. But we'll be live tomorrow with DBD. We're gonna be running a little Swift with the homies. And it'll be our last day of the Pride fundraiser. hopefully we can get some more money into our fundraiser. If we make $200, I'll definitely plan that 12-hour stream. But tell your friends, tomorrow's the last day. I appreciate you all for being here. Ali, night night, thank you for being here. And